Almost 2 weeks behind bars, the accused will now know their fate on Wednesday. Their defense lawyer contended that the state failed to present proper facts before the court. She pointed out that they've handed all their documents and are ready to pay the 200,000 rand bail.
What is important in our case, it's almost a trite principle, where the court can manifestly see that applicants does not run away from the fact that there's warrants of arrest or that there's an intention to arrest them, but in fact voluntarily surrenders themselves. That is a positive factor in the interest of justice that the court should take into account in favor of the applicants.
However, concluding its heads of argument, the state argued that the accused should not be granted bail as the interest of justice does not permit their release on bail. The prosecutor further stated that the retention of their travel documents is not a deterrent for them to skip the country. The court also heard that their assets have been registered under company names or smuggled out of the country. The state also indicated that there are more charges added after the couple appeared at the Commercial Crime Court last year.
What charges were added after their appearance for their bail application in the Commercial Crimes Court? You said further charges were later added. What further charges were later added, and at what stage? When were they later added?
Bishop, the indictment was served on the applicants 1 and 2 on the 29th of November 2019 when they were transferred, or that case were transferred to the High Court. And the indictment included immigration contraventions of the Immigration Act against both of them. The allegation or the offences, the charges, the first one is the contraventions of the Reserve Bank Act. And then there was uttering, fraud, there was uttering, and then several offences of fraud, which differs from what was initially levelled against them during the bail application. There was listed a charge of money laundering, fraud, and theft.
This explanation was much to the defence's dismay.
We don't know when the offences was committed. We don't know who the complainants are. We don't know when this was committed. Now the state expects us to prefer a version and challenge the strength of the state's case. What is there to challenge, Your Worship? My learned friend cannot seriously submit to this court that what is set out in the affidavit and what is set out in those 3 annexes to the J50 constitute a serious and strong case.
Van der Heever further put it before the court that the state knew from last year that the accused were frequent travellers. Responding to the illegal shipping of their vehicles, the defense said it's ridiculous because they could not have escaped procedures that have to be followed through the customs services. The Bushiris, their financial consultant, and Zetu Mudolo will remain in custody at the Hoshimampuru Correctional Services while waiting for a judgment on Wednesday. Molemo-Waone Mothoa, SABC News, Pretoria.
All right, to discuss, we're joined by that news reporter. You heard her there, Molemo-Waone Mothoa. Molemo, thank you for being with us. Just give us more explanation of the scenes inside and outside court today.
Good evening. Well, Francis, today, as I can just give a picture, especially outside of the court. We've seen a reduced number of supporters as compared to, the ones, those that have been coming over the past 2 weeks. It actually has been sort of like a back and forth kind of, exercise ever since the two, or rather the accused, started appearing before court, with the court initially, starting with an application as to whether to allow the media to film the accused or not. And well, today, both parties, that is the state and the defense, have concluded their heads of argument, with the state maintaining that the applicants are at slight risk, and they have actually in their court papers indicated that they have handed their travel documents and have also declared that they have no intention to abscond and will also, stand their trial. But the state argued, that the absence of travel documents is not a guarantee that they will not evade trial. And therefore, it has submitted before court that they should not be successful in their application. And we've had also the magistrate asking the state as to why is it opposing bail now when all the facts it has presented are actually similar to those that were put before court when the Bushiris were appearing before the Commercial Crimes Court last year. But then the state said they are not the same as further charges that have been added. But then that was to the dismay of the defense lawyer who jumped in to say that which are those charges that the state is talking about, who are the complainants. She actually, put it before court that the state has failed to present proper facts before the court, and it has failed to provide any proof of the allegations, but instead, has sourced information from media articles as well as the website.
All right, so we await to hear what the magistrate says. This is just bail proceedings. When could this go to trial? Do we know?
Well, for now, Francis, the matter that is before court is this bail application. It's not yet clear as to when this matter will go before court. Well, what you know is that the ones that the Bushiris have been on bail for, has been set for next year, May, for trial.
All right. And it's interesting that you say there were fewer of Shepherd Bushiri's supporters outside the court today. We've heard from them throughout, still believing he's a man of God, a man of integrity. Is that still the case in light of the claims that have been made here, money laundering, things like that?
Well, since their appearance, there's been a lot of, a huge number of members and supporters of ECG who have been coming, to court to support their leaders, demanding that they be released. They say they still are believing that their leaders are innocent and there is nothing wrong that they have done, and they actually are calling for, the court to give them or grant them bail, saying that a lot of them, have had their lives changed either physically or spiritually. And what they need to have now is to have them, back to the church and continue, because a lot of souls out there, as they say, are now perishing.
All right, thank you. Following that bail application, SABC News reporter Molemo-Waone Mothoa.